Aloha Honu, welcome to day 2 of Design and Build Your Own Game. So we're going to get to the game board probably tomorrow on day 3. So let's go back to where we were for today. We were going to pick a theme for our game, so a subject that you want your game to be about. So that could be anything that you're interested in. I suggested some things like pirate treasure hunt or mermaids and dolphins or any kind of a mystery, really anything that you're interested in. I picked flowers to food as my theme. That was my subject. So then I wanted to find out a few things about my theme, some important words or images that I could include. So I went to look for some books about growing food in Hawaii. I have this really great book called Hawaii Home Gardener, and I looked in there and got some great ideas and looked at some shapes of plants and fruits and vegetables. And then I started to make a list. What are going to be the important images or words for my theme? Can you see some of the things I thought of? I wrote them down here. Flowers, bees, pollen. You could read all the other words. Your list is going to be different because it's going to be words about your theme or your subject. And then I'm thinking about the object of my game. What are the players trying to do? I decided that we're going to travel along a garden path with the pollinators as they help plants to make food from flowers. The winner will be the player with the most pollinator points. You might have the winner be the fastest to go through, the one who gets the highest number of rolls. That's okay. Or you might have a different way of being the winner in your game. That's up to you because you're the game designer. Now we have a few other questions that we need to answer right now about our game. So if you've got a notebook or a piece of paper, you might want to write down these questions. You can always stop the video and go and get a paper. I wonder, who are the players? Okay, the players are going to be different pollinators. So I'm just going to write that down. I want my players to be pollinators. So they might be a bee, a bat, a fly, a butterfly, maybe a farmer. I might think of some others. They're going to be different pollinators in my game. How many can play? Well, I think at least 2. 2 might be the least amount that can play. And maybe 4 or 5. Let's say 5. 2 to 5 players. More than 5 might get a little crowded. You can decide if you want your game to be for fewer people. Do the players follow the same path? Will we have the same path? I think yes. I'm going to have my players follow the same path. If you decide that you want to make different paths, you can do that. Okay, if you're not ready with the answers to these questions, why don't you stop the video and think about them and then come back and join me. All right, we're ready to move on to a little bit more planning. A few more questions that we want to ask today on day 2. What are the start and the end points? So where will we start? Well, if it's from pollinators to food, I'm going to have my start at the center of a flower. And the end is probably going to be, I'm going to say a harvest basket. When I harvest, a harvest basket of fruits and vegetables. That's because my game is in a garden. How about you? Where will your start and end be? Then you need to think of maybe what are some tricky obstacles, some things that maybe you'll have to skip a turn or go back some spaces, or maybe, oh no, even go back to start? That would have to be something really bad. I think in my game, you'd have to go back to start if you made a mistake and sprayed, let's say, poison on your plants, because you can't eat anything and you're going to harm the pollinators. So I'm going to say that's a really big mistake. I'm not sure what would make you skip a turn yet or go back, but I'm probably going to want to put some of these tricky things in my game. What about some advantages or shortcuts, some lucky steps, like a neat bridge going someplace or somewhere that you could float or fly up? I might have something like go again, maybe catch a ride on butterfly wings. That sounds fun. Go again. Maybe move ahead 3 spaces or something like that. I'm going to think about that. And I'm going to have some little cards with the pollinator points, and I'm going to come up with some questions about plants or about pollination so that the people who play my game are going to be learning something. So you've got a lot to do today if you're designing your game. All right? I want you to be able to fill in your question sheets. So you're going to be able to stop the video, and you can look at these pages, or you can go on this virtual STEAM webpage and click the link that says Build and Design a Game Step by Step. And you'll see my slides there that will tell you all of these steps too. All right, so I'm going to put my questions back up. All the work that I've done here. So that's going to really help me get going. And tomorrow, we're going to design the board. So I'll get my board again. Here's a board from a game I just have in my house. I think mine is going to be much more interesting, but I can see there might be some colors and some squares, maybe some funny artwork. I might start thinking about that. I've got a great start because I've got a list of all these important images, so that's really going to help me. All right, I'll see you tomorrow on day 3, and we'll move ahead with our game. Aloha!